Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an OP Ice Storm Sorcerer build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. So the Storm Sorcerer is one of my favorite subclasses in this game because they get a lot of cool spells and the ability to fly around after casting spells to avoid getting hit. Now this is going to be a pretty unique build, so we're going to be starting, obviously we want to be taking Ray of Frost. Shocking Grasp is nice too. You do have the ability to fly away, but this is an action, and it gives advantage on targets that have metal armor, so it can be nice to get away if you don't want to use your fly. We're also going to have Minor Illusion because I can group enemies together. If you're the face of the party, take Friends. If not, you can go with Mage Hand because this can throw water bottles to set up our Cold and Lightning spells to deal double damage. Now for the spells that we want to be taking at level 1, I think it's best to go with Shield for the +5 to armor class for survivability's sake. And Magic Missile is nice too, giving us a guaranteed damage option that we can also use for different things that I'll talk about as we get later on, because this can actually apply frost to us, to the enemy. So you could also go a Chromatic Orb and make it an Ice Orb. That's another option. Ice Knife is okay too, but it does piercing damage alongside it. For the subclass, we're obviously going with the Storm Sorcerer. This gives us the Tempestus Magic here, which allows you to fly as a bonus action after casting a spell. As for our ability score and makeup, you can go with 17 Charisma, take the Hags here to take it up to 18, but if not, we'll go with 16 Charisma there. Good amount of Constitution, and we also want to have a decent bit of Dexterity, because Dexterity is going to give us the armor class that we need to survive. And something like this, you could even go with the extra 2 points into like your, I guess, Wisdom, or maybe even, yeah, we'll go Intelligence and maybe take some points out of Wisdom. Take 14 Intelligence, so something like this works well. Now, for this build, we can add in a single level dip of a certain class, which I'll talk about near the end of this video. I'll also be going over all the gear for this near the end as well, and just giving you a combat demo for this build. Now, at level 2, we can take our Chromatic Orb, giving us the option to do Thunder, Lightning, or Cold damage with this, even Fire damage if you really want to. Thunder Wave is another option because you can push back enemies and knock them off of cliffs. Now for our Metamagics, Distance spell to increase the range of spells by 50% and give melee spells a ranged option. And Twin spell. This is very overpowered because we can twin Haste to ourselves and just, it's broken. It's very powerful. Giving ourselves Haste gives us an extra action and gives someone else an extra action too. And when we have 2 actions, we can cast 2 spells and then use a Quicken spell to do another one. So yeah, 3 spells per turn gets pretty powerful really quickly. Now at level 3, we get some great options. Misty Step is one, but we do have a bonus action Fly, so this almost becomes not as important. Hold Person's my personal favorite here because this locks the enemy in place, and you attack within 3 meters, you get a critical hit for an extra damage die on your martial classes. So great synergy with different classes. If you got like a fighter, a barbarian, or any other paladin, they'll get critical hits off with no problem with this. And you can also daze the target to give them disadvantage on their saving throw against that, so that's another nice option. At level 3, we want to take Quicken spell, so we can do bonus action casting, which is massive because that lets us cast 2 spells per turn. Gets really crazy. So yeah, at level 4, we get ourselves our first feat here. And for the cantrip, you can take whatever one you didn't take previously. So again, Friends for you to face the party. Bone Chill is nice because it stops target from healing. Firebolt's good for exploding things. I'm going to go with Bone Chill. And for our next leveled spell, Invisibility can actually be pretty nice. Turn invisible creature invisible. This is good if you have synergy on your team. Like if you need someone that needs to turn invisible. Cloud of Daggers is good. You can just cast this wherever and it'll deal that 44 slashing. Mirror Image gives you a +9 to your armor class, which is nice. I like Scorching Ray, but it doesn't fit the theme of this cold build very well. We're all about storms, so Darkness is my pick for the next spell because this can blind all creatures within it. This is great crowd control, and you can have your characters go into it to hide and then come back out of it, and they're hidden. So some synergy there. Now for our feat, I think it's best to take our Charisma up to 20. There is also the option to go in Warcaster, give you Constitution saving throw proficiency early on in the game. That can be nice for holding your concentrations. And then you can also use a reaction Shocking Grasp at a target moving out of melee range. So that is one option. I think it's best to actually just go with the ability improvement. Even Alert for +5 initiative is quite nice too, so you could go that route, but we're going to go with that there. Now for our next leveled spell, we get the awesome Haste here. So when you hasten someone, they gain an action. So you use an action to cast Haste, but you then get another action, so it's basically free. You just use your level 3 spell slot. You become faster, so you get an extra 3 meters movement speed, and you get a +2 to armor class. Really nice. Once this ends, you become lethargic and lose your turn, but that's 10 turns. You don't want to lose your concentration on this, so that's why having Constitution saving throw proficiency is really nice from the Sorcerer. So we got that all wrapped up. Now, a spell that would be on theme is Sleet Storm, but we'll get that later on. Don't worry about it. Lightning Bolt's another really nice one that we can take at next level, because this will be doubled and create water as well, and it fits the theme of the Ice Storm Sorcerer. So, Haste. It's great. And here's level 6. This is when we're going to get ourselves Sleet Storm and all those spells I talked about. So we get Sleet Storm there. We get Call Lightning, which you don't get this naturally. It's a druid spell, but you can use this as a concentration. Continually call down lightning round after round. It does 3d10 of lightning damage, which is really nice. So it's a decent good bit of damage that can be doubled. We create water, which we get create water. And we also get Thunder Wave, which I talked about previously, and Gust of Wind to knock creatures off balance, even knock them off of cliffs. We also get the Heart of the Storm. So when you cast a level 1 or higher spell that deals lightning or thunder damage, you cause a small localized storm. All enemies within 6 meters take 3 lightning or thunder damage, and you're resistant to lightning and thunder damage. That's quite nice. So we're going to take Lightning Bolt, because this is also going to... It's a Storm Sorcerer spell. This deals lightning damage, so 8d6. 48 total damage, but if we are able to get Create Water set up, that can be a potential 96 damage, which is incredible. So we're going to go with that spell there. It's just an absolute blast. So we'll take that. Now at our next level, level 7, we get access to our Ice Storm, which I'm going to take just because it's the name of this build. This isn't a spell that you're going to use often, but it deals 2d8 bludgeoning and then 46 of cold damage. And the nice thing with it, it creates an ice surface, so martial class, really anyone can slip and fall on it, which is the ideal outcome of using it. So use that to upset people's concentration, similar to you would use how you use Sleet Storm without the concentration. Now next level, I like Confusion. This confuses a group of enemies, but some people don't really like this spell too much. Greater Invisibility can turn a creature invisible, which is a better version of normal invisibility, which is kind of nice. Fear hits in a large area there and knocks people, or gives them disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls, and they drop their weapon, so you can pick it up and they won't use their weapon, which is really good. Counterspell is just a general great spell to have. Stops the spell from being cast. This can be a game changer. I typically use this on a wizard, but it fits the theme here, so we're going to take that, because we already got some of the previous spells that I would have selected covered. Now, for our next feat, there's a few great options here. So, you can go with Elemental Adept, so your spells and attacks ignore resistance to a damage type of your choice. When you cast a spell that type, you cannot roll a 1. So you can take the Elemental Adept Cold, which is nice, ignoring resistances, but when you use Create Water, it's going to ignore the resistance for cold and lightning damage anyway, so not something that we really need to focus too much on, so I think it's best to go with Charisma 20. However, if you use the Hags here and already have 20 Charisma, take Alert for a +5 to initiative. If you can go first and illuminate 2 targets or create an ice surface for everyone to slip on, that just helps the rest of your team out. Now, this is our big bread and butter spell, Cone of Cold. 8d8 of damage, so this deals upwards of 128 damage if we triggered a max amount of damage with Create Water setup. That's incredible. It's really cool too because it hits in a huge area, so you can literally just shut people down with it. Now at level 10, we get ourselves another cantrip, so we'll take whatever really you want there. For our spells, I think Hold Monster works best. Paralyze a creature, can't move, act, or react. This can make some fights in Act 3 really useful, or really easy. Cloud Kill's okay. If you have like a Necromancer in your team, you want to use this because the undead can't be hurt by this. Insect Plague's also okay, but I think Hold Monster's our best choice. And for our Metamagic, Subtle Spell's okay, but you can always walk out of silence. Heightened spells can give you spells that require saving throws of disadvantage on a first saving throw. So that can be nice if you want to lock down like a Hold Monster. So maybe Heightened Spell or Subtle Spell, your choice there. We really already got our Metamagics that we want. Now we get our subclass feature here at level 11. So when you're hit by a melee attack, you deal 11 lightning damage to the attacker and potentially push them away. That's really nice, getting a reaction similar to how the Tempest Cleric gets a reaction, so big ups on that. Next, we want to take Chain Lightning. This is huge damage, 10 to 80 damage, which is massive. It's a 10d8 of lightning, which is doubled in Create Water. So this fits perfectly with our theming. And for our final level, we're going to go, actually, you could take Sorcerer, take another feat with Alert. I think it's actually better to add in the Wizard, because then we can learn things like Conjure Elemental, Conjure Minor Elemental, and we can also ascribe level 6 spells if we wanted to. We get pretty much every cantrip we ever could dream of wanting, and we can take things like Ice Knife there. We already have Shield, but it's not showing that we have it. So something like this works great for our spells, and we can prepare 3 of them. So Fog Cloud's actually really nice, blinding targets, but we already got a version of it similar. So we're going to go with maybe just these 3 here, And yeah, that is that. We're going to get into the build guide, or the gear options here now. So Cold Brim Hat. Once per turn on any condition inflicted on a target, ability drain from the Illithid abilities counts, so we can trigger that. But it's only once per turn. You get 2 layers of encrusted with frost. Also using this when the Winter's Clutches, whenever the Winter's Clutches, my bad, deals cold damage, you get 2 turns of encrusted with frost, which will actually trigger that, so you can get 4. If you do cold spells, you can do 4 stacks right there with those 2. I'm also using the Snowburst Ring. When the target deals cold damage, they create a 4.5 meter circle of ice around the target, and they'll slip and fall on it. Trust me on that. It's really good. I also have the Cloak of Protection, Evasive Shoes, and Ring of Protection for the plus to armor class, so we get a nice... we got 20 armor class there. It's not super high, but it's okay. It's enough. We could also go with different options for... I guess we can swap out something different here if we wanted to get a different armor class. So... 10 from the base armor class. We don't have, I guess, yeah, we don't have the Draconic Sorcerer, so that limits it a bit. But we can learn spells like Conjure Elemental. This is a huge one to learn because we can have now a Water Elemental that's going to help deal a bit more damage. We can also, like if you didn't previously learn things like Lightning Bolt, you can take that. And we can also add in the Intelligence Circlet if we don't want to go with the Cold Brim Hat, because this will allow us to get our 17 Intelligence, giving us a higher spell costing modifier. You could also dump your Intelligence if that's the case. And it lets us learn a few extra spells that are kind of nice to have. Like, we can go, we already have Ice Storm, but we can get Globe of Invulnerability, which is an awesome spell. Doesn't require your intelligence stat to be anything. Scroll of Fire Shield, which can give us cold damage resistance, which is nice, and gives us cold reaction. There's a few other spell slots. There's a few other spells that we could go. I don't know where my Minor Elemental is, but I would take Minor Elemental as well, because that's just a really great spell to have. So we'll go with that too, but... We'll go into, press K on the keyboard to get into your wizard spells, and then we can select our Conjure Elemental. You can take off something like Witch Bolt for our Globe of Invulnerability. Pretty powerful. So, yeah, what we want to be doing with this build is we want to set Create Water. So I'm wearing the Wave Mother's Robe, which gives us resistance to fire and cold damage. So resistant to fire, cold, lightning, and thunder damage. And we also will heal 1 to 4 health when we're standing in water. We get a +1 to our armor class. And we get a level 4 Create Water spell, so we can literally just go boop and drop that down on everyone. And then what's nice about that is we can go with our Cone of Cold, and this is going to apply the Encrusted with Frost on everyone. And you can see everyone slipping and falling there, and that's perfect for us to follow it up with a Chain Lightning. So, I don't know why it didn't let me cast that there, but Chain Lightning will zap and spread to other people. It won't spread to anyone on our team there, but that was 82 damage. That's really good, obviously. So, very powerful. We can also upcast our Chromatic Orb. You can also, we got ourselves the, I'm using the Marka Heshkir Staff, which gives a +1 to spell save DC, spell attack rolls. Gives us the Arcane Battery to take a free level 6 spell, so we can cast ourselves the Chain Lightning. And we also get Kareska's Favor, so we can get a free Bolts of Doom, which gives Chain Lightning additional damage equal to our proficiency bonus on lightning spells. I think for the purposes of this, we're going to go with the Dark Winter, which is going to give us Ice Storm and Cone of Cold for free, which is nice. And then we also get that free, we can fly at any time, so that's another nice benefit of this. But one thing, you always want to have your haste up if possible, so you can twin that. So you go twin haste, twin spell, and haste to yourself. And then we can also go with the, we can do Conjure Elemental here. I like using this, or any of the other staves that give the free cast. Water Myrmidon's nice because it has a lot of ice attacks that are very heavy hitting. But also the Water Elemental is really good too, because when we summon in the Water Elemental, one of the things that it can do is the Slam attack, which will apply water to whoever we attack. So we can go here and then, oh, we missed. With this, basically what you do is you just do your Slam attack and try to target them and make sure that they get the chilled. So we can go there, enter turn-based mode. Will has chilled on him, so he's going to be taking more damage from our ice spells. And then what we can do is we can literally just go with our, I guess, move forwards and then blast with Cone of Cold. And that's going to do a ton of damage to Will. I'm sorry, Will. 60 damage. And he's frozen solid there. So he's got chilled and encrusted with frost. Everyone's blasted with that. Minsk moved out of the way. Jahara just died. Shadowheart's almost dead. But yeah, this gets really powerful because of all the ice surfaces that we can create with these. You can also go with a different staff. You can go with the Morning Frost here, which will deal additional cold damage. And whenever we deal cold damage with a spell, we can inflict shield on the target. So that's another nice benefit of that. And we get all of our, I guess I took off the Kreska's favor, so we lost that. But you really get some nice spells between like Ray of Frost there, which is going to create ice surfaces everywhere, and everyone's still falling around. Ice Storm will cause ice surfaces too, so you can use that for ice surfaces. But Ice Knife is another option for small localized slipping like that. It's just really fun to use this spell, and we hit for a huge amount of damage there. We got Gust of Wind to knock people back into the ice. We got Hold Person to keep them there. We got Call Lightning if we want another spell slot or another spell that we can channel and attack with that. It does a ton of damage for a spell that we can continually cast. We also got Lightning Bolt there, which is a really great spell if we can hit multiple people in a row. We got the Arcane Recovery, so we can recover level 1 spell slot, which is not amazing, but if you run low on spell slots, just continue to cast Call Lightning. That's really the best choice. It'll also electrify any water surfaces that are set up, so you can continually zap people with that, and it can potentially electrocute them. So that's a nice little benefit of the Call Lightning, is we can just continue to do that, and then we can use our Fly to get out of there. So another benefit, Storm Sorcerer can fly around. The Duke is getting zapped there, but yeah, as long as you're able to create water and set up ice damage, it's going to be a very powerful build. So you can see there we got our Chain Lightning and then drop the the Ice Storm here. This fits our Ice Storm Sorcerer build perfectly. We lost our I guess we're gonna have Asterion run at us now. Featherfall. Why are you casting that? Shrouding, it's nice. Alright, we lost Asterion. We're back here. I have my Chain Lightning. Or I guess I can just go with another Lightning Bolt. The best thing about Lightning Bolt is you can hit people in a huge area. That killed him in one shot. 54 damage. That's what I'm talking about. It's a very powerful spell. I hate having to take everyone else out, but I just want to show off this build. And then we can also quicken a spell, and then if you want to, you can just go straight to blasting more people. Crazy amounts of damage. We're able to drop like everyone no matter what. So yeah, that is an Ice Storm Sorcerer build in Baldur's Gate 3. If you found this video useful, please hit that subscribe button below. This is a very fun class to use. And we'll see you all in the next video.